Nobody should be misled by the title of ballerina into trying to take their 8-year-old daughter to see it. It's marketed as from the world of John Wick, and is one of the most insanely violent films of the year. But if you like that sort of thing, and don't mind a plot so perfunctory that it's really only there to link one outbreak of murderous mayhem to the next, then Ballerina will keep you on your toes. It's propulsive, action-packed, and quite thrillingly bonkers. A duel between a man with a whopping flamethrower and a woman with a thunderous hose is worth the price of admission alone. Keanu Reeves, as Wick, pops up only fleetingly, at the beginning and the end. He hasn't learnt to talk any faster since the last film, but can still load and draw a gun twice as quickly as it takes him to complete a sentence. The star turn this time is Ana de Armas, who played a CIA agent in No Time to Die, 2021, but as it turns out was only taking baby steps in the shooting and killing business. Here she plays Eve Macarro, whom we first meet as a child watching her brave papa being bumped off by hitmen with sinister crosses branded on their wrists. 12 years later, under the beady eye of Anjelica Huston's director, Eve is being trained as an assassin herself. She is also being trained as a ballerina, which seems like a curious blend of careers until you see how sharply she kicks men in the crotch. Nobody makes the gag in the film, so allow me. She is the nutcracker. Having completed her apprenticeship by executing one of her coaches, Eve is launched into the outside world as a high-class minder for rich kids at risk of abduction. Cue a crazy martial arts sequence at one of those New York nightclubs you only see in the movies, where everyone keeps dancing even after a dozen thugs have been shot or dispatched with ice picks. But all this is just a rehearsal. More than anything, Eve wants to nail the international criminal gang who killed her papa, which leads her, after a spot of mass murder in Prague, to a picture postcard alpine village, snowy home to a ruthless cove known only as the Chancellor, suavely played by Gabriel Byrne. With every single villager on his evil payroll, the Chancellor thinks he calls all the shots. But needless to add, killing Eve isn't easy. Apart from some gloriously unlikely family dynamics and a couple of appearances from a waxy-faced Ian McShane, that's about it. If you're not into carnage, even when it's inflicted by someone as pretty as Tom Cruise's girlfriend, Ana de Armas, you should pirouette well clear of Ballerina. Otherwise, Len Wiseman's film is a blast. Sean Byrne's Dangerous Animals holds human life just as cheaply, but isn't what you'd call a blast. It's a horror thriller set on Australia's Gold Coast that preys on our fear of serial killers and our fear of the deep, to give us a murderer who knocks off young women by feeding them to sharks. This is what's known in the business as a genre mashup. Jaws meets Say Seven Un. I suppose we can count ourselves lucky, there are only 2 genres mashed up. Jaws meets Say Seven and Brides for Say Seven and Brothers would be too much. Heather, Ella Newton, a nervy middle-class English girl on a gap year, cannot count herself lucky. She and a fellow backpacker, a Canadian lad, make the fatal mistake of boarding a boat skippered by Tucker, Jai Courtney, a brash Aussie who advertises diving with sharks experiences. Soon, the boy is a goner and Heather is in chains below decks, where in due course she is joined by Zephyr, Hassie Harrison, a savvy American surfer subdued and dragged off by the monstrous Tucker. Unlike Heather, Zephyr has a few tricks up her sleeve. She also has a steamy one-night stand behind her, with hunky local estate agent Moses, Josh Houston, who won't rest until he finds out what has happened to her. Thus the stage is set for lashings of genuinely suspenseful action and properly stomach-churning gore. Although the credibility of the plot goes overboard a few times, not least when we see just how many travelers Tucker has turned into shark bait without eliciting, as far as we can tell, the slightest interest from the Gold Coast cops. Goebbels and the Führer, on the other hand, features a pair of real-life monsters whose stories are horribly, harrowingly true. But actually the whole point of Joachim Lang's tremendously potent German-language picture is not to depict Adolf Hitler, Fritz Karl, and his devoted propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels, Robert Stadlober, as monsters, rather as human beings warped and twisted by their hatred of Jews and their love of power. The film cleverly fuses drama with actual newsreel footage, and as compelling as it is disturbing, is well worth seeing. All films reviewed are in cinemas now. Justin Bieber wants the paparazzi's attention to stop. On Thursday, April 24th, the Peaches musician, 31, turned the camera on the multiple photographers who were waiting to snap a picture of him to give fans a glimpse of his life in front of the lens via a video shared on Instagram. As Justin exited a gate on his way to a waiting car, he took a video of the paparazzi, appearing to repeatedly say behind the camera, "Look at these guys, man," as several flashes went off. "Guys, can you back up, please?" one person said in the clip before a photographer seemed to question. "You're filming me? You guys done?" someone said in the clip, urging them to leave if they'd gotten their shots. "This has to stop," Justin wrote in the post's caption. The clip comes as rumors have been swirling in recent months about Justin's mental health and the state of his marriage to Hailey Bieber, 28. After a busy stretch for the couple that included multiple Coachella outings and a number of vulnerable social media posts from Justin, both of which sparked concern, a source close to the Biebers told People that they have been just trying to tune out the noise. Justin is having fun, vibing out, and yes, he smokes weed like everyone else. But everything he does is being weaponized against him, the source said. The Canadian singer had raised eyebrows last weekend when he was filmed smoking what appeared to be marijuana while standing next to his 15-year-old brother Jackson in the crowd at Coachella. His sister Jasmine, 16, also attended the festival. Despite rumors about Justin and Hailey's marriage, the insider insisted the never say never hitmaker has just been having fun with his wife's full support. Hailey is not on the verge of wanting a divorce or leaving him. It's just completely untrue, the source told People. If anything, she's sad about how hard everyone is being on him now that he finally is coming back out of his shell. However, a second insider, this one a Justin source, admitted that all was not as rosy as it might appear. She's been in tears about his behavior lately, the source said of Hailey. Things have gotten bad quickly. She's genuinely scared something bad is going to happen to Justin. The couple welcomed son Jack Blues in August 2024, and the second source told People that Hailey's focus is raising their child in a stable environment. Hailey's very loyal to him, Justin. She's not walking away, but she knows something has to change, the insider said. Her focus is raising Jack in a stable environment. She's drawn a line around what she's willing to tolerate. She means the world to Justin. They have quietly weathered more than most couples ever do. Justin mentioned his marriage to Hailey in a heartfelt Instagram stories post shared on Thursday, insisting that hurt people, while acknowledging that he can be mean and hurtful too when he's being really honest. He said of the couple, "It's really up for us, and that's understandable why people can't stand it," adding, "I don't blame em. Hailey and I are the Joneses that are impossible to keep up with." Justin, who released his last album, Justice, in 2021, and has recently been teasing the launch of a new clothing company called SKYLRK on his social media, shared a message of self-reflection on Instagram last month. "People told me my whole life, 'Wow, Justin, you deserve that,' and I personally have always felt unworthy. Like I was a fraud, like when people told me I deserved something, it made me feel sneaky, like, damn, if only they knew my thoughts," he wrote in the March 13th Instagram stories post. "How judgmental I am, how selfish I really am, they wouldn't be saying this," he continued. "I say all this to say, if you feel sneaky, welcome to the club. I definitely feel unequipped and unqualified most days." Justin later wrote that he has anger issues, but wants to grow and not react so much.